evening, America. I'm Lawrence Jones. Welcome to Cross Country. Crime, the border, inflation, gas prices, so many crises, and this administration can't seem to focus on a single one to resolve. So we begin tonight in Johns Island, South Carolina, where we ask some of you to lay out the top issues facing our country right now. Watch. What is the number one issue facing the country right now?
Of course, the price of gas, the price of goods, inflation, no control of the border, the immigration, and
how's the president doing?
Let me think for a second. Not too good. No.
Ma'am, what is the number one issue facing the country?
The number one, numero uno, is the border.
The border.
The border is scary. Look at those thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people coming in, and where are they going? And they don't have anything. And what do we do with them? It's just horrible.
What is the number one issue facing the country?
I would agree with that. Inflation and crime is getting a lot of attention, but I noticed on the Fox survey, or one of the surveys, only 7% were concerned about the border problem. And I'm thinking that is because all the other networks are not even mentioning it. Mm-hmm. It's not what Fox says, it's what the other ones are not saying. Yeah. And so the general public they're not aware of the crisis. It's going to kill this country.
What's the number one issue facing the country?
The number one issue we have is, of course, two things. I can't say one, the economy, but also the immigration, because that's also going to affect everything else in our lives, economy, schools, and everything else.
What is the number one issue facing our country?
Inflation, I'd say. Everything.
How's the president doing to address
it? He sucks. He's terrible. He's doing a terrible job.
Do you have any hope that he's going to change?
I do not think he's going to change.
Do you think there's any hope for this administration?
Zero. You got a better chance of being in the NBA than him doing the correct thing, period.
It seems like everybody's unified in the sense of thinking everything is bad right now.
Unfortunately, that's very accurate.
Yeah. Harsh words for the president. Those folks aren't the only ones who think we're heading in the wrong direction. The latest Fox News poll shows the president is underwater on every issue. Here to react is Jimmy Fallon, host of Fox Across America, and Fox News contributor Leslie Marshall. Thank y'all so much for joining the program. So, Leslie, I want to go to you first. You heard from those voters, and it's not just in middle of America. It's everywhere I go, every single week, whether it's Dallas, Texas, South Carolina, New Orleans, wherever, they say the same thing about the president. They don't feel like he's up for the task.
Well, anybody is going to blame when you have high gas prices the person in power. It doesn't matter if it's Joe Biden, a Democrat, a Republican, or a party we haven't heard of yet that might come up down the road. I always find it interesting, though, that non-border states like South Carolina are so concerned with immigration sitting here in the state of California. But the top two reasons that people are angry right now aren't immigration. They are the economy, numero uno, and that is what most voters have, like James Carville said back in 1992, it is the economy, stupid. It was then, it still is, it probably will be for all of our lifetimes. And then secondly, actually, is crime. And we saw that in the latest primaries and, special elections across the board, state by state. So though immigration might be up there among those people that you talked to in South Carolina, it's not number one or two in other areas of the nation, and not that me as a Democratic strategist has seen in the data that I have obtained.
So, Jimmy, do you want to tell Leslie why other states care about the border? Maybe it's because there are flights and trains and putting those illegals into their state, or the fentanyl coming across the border.
Well, I was going to say, but before I get there, it is the fentanyl. But Leslie, of course, is a great friend of mine, so I want to start by just thanking her for joining us on a Saturday night. Because, right, Leslie, I know as a liberal parent, you're supposed to be taking your kids to a drag show right now. But you took time. I love you, Leslie. You know I do. You know I do. It's
actually, we're leaving in an hour. We're leaving in an hour.
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. It is the fentanyl. You see, we have a 50-state problem when it comes to our southern border. We have a record level of fentanyl overdose deaths. The fentanyl doesn't come across Texas and Arizona and stay there. As you know, it goes everywhere. But the issue, of course, I do agree with Leslie, is the economy again and again and again. And the problem we have is there's been a bigger effort made at every turn okay, to assign blame for the problem than there has been to solve the problem, you know? And this is a pattern over and over. First, it's inflation's not a problem, then it's transitory, then it is a problem, but it's Putin's fault, or it's ultra MAGA, or mega MAGA, or I can't believe it's not MAGA. And I think if they were to own some of these crises and show a little more leadership, they'd be in a better spot. But I don't expect anything to change. I really think the midterms are going to be like a breakup haircut. You know when a girl gets out of a relationship, just chops it off? That's what I think we're looking at. I think 90 seats are about to get chopped off, and we're just starting over with a short haircut as a country.
So, Leslie, does the president pivot? I mean, they are blaming him because he promised to fix things. A lot of things that weren't broken, he promised to fix. The economy was surging when he became the president. So, you know, what is he going to do?
Well, listen, you know, I'll give you my house for the first person that can find me a soundbite of any president since George Washington, quite frankly, that has stood up and said, this is all my fault, my bad, you know, going to hell in a handbag, it is all my fault. Please, no president, no politician. Quite frankly, a lot of human beings have a hard time saying, my bad. But here is the bottom line. If the presidency said, we, with legislation, are responsible, according to economists on both sides of the aisle, with approximately 2% or less of inflation. It doesn't matter because those facts are out there to be found by Google, by listening to people like us. So that means that 98% of the reason for inflation, not just in this country, but in the world, because we have a global economy, and inflation is a global problem, is not just Joe Biden. One of the problems I think we have as Americans is we want to always blame. You know, I always say to my kids, tell me the problem. Let's look for a solution, or here, Mom has the solution. So we need to talk about solutions.
All right, Jimmy, I'm going to give you the final word. You got a solution for this, brother?
Joe Biden has run this economy about as well as he rides a bicycle. We all saw that terrible video of him falling over today. The only thing I can tell you is there's a million theories for the crash. We know it wasn't caused by a lack of inflation. Good night, everybody.
Jimmy, Leslie, thank y'all so much. See y'all soon.